Welcome to Cyber Espresso Podcast, your quick shot of cybersecurity insights with industry leaders. I welcome today's guest, George Njuguna, Global Risk and Compliance Lead. George, welcome to our podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. It's indeed a pleasure to join your session and probably come and have these conversations around security, AI, and the emerging trends. It's such an honor. Thank you so much.
Likewise, my pleasure, George. So, George, I look at your impressive profile. So, you have led GRC programs across many different countries, I think over 10. So, what is the most universally effective strategy for building organization resilience?
Yeah, thank you so much for that. Yeah, I've had the privilege of leading cybersecurity operations programs across different regions in the world. And probably before I begin with the strategies, I can mention, and especially in Africa, where I have spent quite a lot of time on it. So I can begin by pointing out a few challenges that I have identified, and then maybe in the end, I can give the most effective strategy. So one of them is actually organizations or maybe the stakeholders, including the government, the private institutions, the public institutions. They still operate in silos, for example, maybe when it comes to banks or the telcos, trying to identify maybe a SIM swap fraud patterns, in silo. The second one I have seen, and especially in the Africa region, is the capacity and skills retention. I've seen quite a lot of gap around there, and I've seen organization, still trying to struggle to run an effective incidents response because, for example, maybe a key staff has actually been moved or have left the organization. The other one that I have practically seen is the lack of cyber threat intelligence, and that's why I started by mentioning organizations or stakeholders working in silo. But when it comes to the effective strategy, the most universal one that I have seen, that I have recommended, that I have implemented, regardless of the country, regardless of the industry, regardless of the regulatory maturity, is actually creating a decision-ready risk management rhythm. And what do I mean by this? So in every region I have worked, whether it is in financial institution, whether it is in the telecommunication or a healthcare, the strongest organization, what have worked is actually three things. So one of them is to maintain a single shared source of truth for risk. So of course we cannot overemphasize the need for the risk management process within an organization. So instead of having scattered spreadsheets or siloed reports, so these organizations had one risk register or a dashboard with clear owners and real-time updates. So that is one strategy that I've seen work. And I've seen organizations drastically reduce incidents simply because everyone from IT to finance, they saw the same risks at the same time. Secondly, they use scenario-based playbooks instead of thick policy documents. So, of course, the resilience usually comes from practicing real situations, not reading policies. I think during one of the major outage, a team was able to restore over half of its operation within hours because they had rehearsed the exact failure scenario before the month. And then, lastly, one thing I can mention is to run cross-functional drills that will involve the business leadership and not just the IT or the security. So when the legal, the communications, the HR, the engineering, the executives, when they train together, decision making actually usually accelerates. And in short, I will actually say that policies will do matter, but resilience is actually built through rhythm, not paperwork. And so a steady cycle of visibility, practice, coordinated decision making is what actually allows organizations anywhere in the world to bounce faster and stronger.
Wow. Thanks for sharing your insights. It's a great feedback. So,
Thank you.
George, another topic I want to move on. AI is reshaping our lives, our businesses, and cyber defense. Yet it introduces some risks. So, what are the risks, in your opinion, that we should be aware of?
Okay, sure. Thank you. I actually agree with you 100% that AI is actually a double-edged sword. So with it comes great opportunities, but at the
Mhm.
same time, it presents some risk with it. And so when it comes to security and more so the cyber defenses, so it can actually act autonomously, and it can actually massively strengthen the defense through the automated detection, the triaging, in the incident response. But no, it also introduces new categories of risk. I can mention maybe three of them at a high level. So one of them is the automation blind spots. So we see that if an autonomous agent actually misinterpret a spike in legitimate activity as an attack, it can actually shut down critical services. I've seen an AI system throttle a production API during a marketing campaign because it flagged the traffic as suspicious. So that is one risk or one challenge that usually comes with relying on agentic AI. The second one is the model manipulation. So the threat actors actually can actually poison the data, these models, the data from which these models are actually learning from. For example, if they can be able to inject misleading logs, they could cause an AI agent to actually ignore the true threats or overreact to harmless anomalies. And then thirdly, escalation cascades. So multiple AI agents actually act independently, and they can cause the chain reaction of failures. So imagine with me maybe having one agent revoking a developer's access, while another one is actually while another threat is actually the failed deployment as a new attack. So it will trigger more interventions. And maybe the last one I can mention around that is the auditability and governance gap as one of the aspects. So regulators increasingly demand explainability. And so with the AI driven actions, we need to audit the trails that log what action was taken and by which agent and why. So in response to that, or short answer to that, or in summary, I can mention that indeed agentic AI is actually a multiplier for defense. It's a force multiplier for defense, but without strong guardrails, the human oversight and the transparent logging, it can also multiply the risk.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
basically, it suggests that we need to still have a human oversight to control what agents are doing or put some controls and boundaries.
100%, 100%. Absolutely.
Very good. So, George,
Yeah.
I appreciate your time, sharing your insight. It's really a pleasure to benefit from your experience. I look forward to maybe talking to you on other occasions.
For sure, thank you. And I look forward, talking to you in other occasions. It's usually my pleasure meeting and connecting with like-minded individuals, sharing and exchanging knowledge and experiences so that we can build a better digital economy and ecosystem together. So thank you so much.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thanks, George. Have a pleasant weekend. Ciao.
Thank you so much. Enjoy your weekend as well. Ciao, ciao.